Hey, what's going on, church fam? Excited to be with you guys. We are here with some of our Castle Rock team. We're super excited to have you guys here. We're with Tanner and Mary. Say hi, guys. Good to be here.
So happy to be here.
I am excited you guys want to do this little interview with me. We just are about to, we've already hit the 1 year anniversary
That's right.
with you guys being live, which is awesome. It's always weird with Easter kind of moving around. You know,
right.
like Christmas hits the same every year, but it's kind of hard to plan out where Easter's
Yeah,
gonna be.
exactly,
So
exactly.
you guys had a big cake and everything, big celebration. It went really good.
It was a party, man.
Yeah.
It was such a fun time to celebrate what God's done this last year and reminisce. And we got to see some stories during the service of fun stories, silly things that have been happening, and all the serious, like good stuff, good life-changing stuff that God's been doing down in Castle Rock. It's been a lot of fun.
And you'd be shocked how many people want to slice cake at 10:15 in the morning.
Crazy. We were like,
Cake's good at all times, though. I feel like
the kids will get it or something. No, everybody got a piece of cake.
Yeah. It was
Wow.
impressive.
that's perfect. Tanner, you hit on something I think is kind of at the heart of what I want to do here. We were talking off mic beforehand about our kids really into Dolly Parton right now, and because she has a little book club, kids get the books. And do you guys have the Coat of Many Colors one?
No,
Do
we
you guys have that
don't.
one? It's a song that she has too, and she goes, "Here I go again, wandering, down my memories." And so I want to look back on your guys' year here and just talk about through the highs and lows, what you guys learned, and all of that fun stuff. So you guys, I was talking with Mary earlier today too. You guys are really unique in the sense that you guys have office space and then you have to go and set up at
Right.
a high school. Can you just walk through a little bit of what that's like to not necessarily have a space and what that's like to go into the community to get involved?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this, like I said earlier. Yesterday, I did 2 home visits and a hospital visit.
Yeah.
I just locked up the office and hit the road and was like, well, if there's any packages that need to be delivered, I'll get them later. But it creates a really cool opportunity to see people out in the community. I was running errands at Target for church, and I pulled into the parking spot right across from some members, and their daughter had been super hesitant to come to youth group. But I just walked up and knocked on the window and said, hey, because I was running errands. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going in to get snacks for youth group. What do you want? And she was like,
nice.
I guess some goldfish. And then the next Sunday, they were driving to church, and she told her mom, well, I guess I kind of have to go because she got me snacks. And so even lack of storage has created opportunities for people to be involved.
Oh, that's so cool. I feel like being like a youth group student, I would have been so honored if my leaders would have asked me what snacks I want. That's the care and attention to detail is amazing.
Yeah. Well, and it's so interesting because when we first were talking about launching a campus, we weren't thinking portable.
Yeah.
We were thinking we're going to start with our own 24/7 facility. And you know what? That's what I got hired expecting.
That was the
and
discussions
I
up
got all
top.
bamboozled. Just kidding. God had a plan. But it's been funny because it's been so much easier in the church world and ministry. It's kind of easy to just kind of hunker into your office, hunker into the church space. That's like the only relationships you see. And so being in the school, it kind of makes it a little bit easier to be in the world, in the community, kind of doing life with the town of Castle Rock as a whole.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're just in it more. You're more embedded.
Yeah.
Which is super cool because we always talk about how the church exists to kind of like bolster up the local community. So I feel like you guys are kind of like exemplifying that super well. And kind of in that same vein, every time our communications team goes down to visit you guys, it really feels like we're going in to like stay with a family for like a little bit because you guys are so tight and you guys are so awesome down out of the Castle Rock offices. Can you just talk about what it was like to develop those relationships? Because Tanner, you were our first hire for the Castle Rock area.
Yeah.
And then Mary, you might have been our second?
Yeah, I was second.
Yeah. So, I mean, just you guys were part of like this foundation that kind of built up this core team here at Mission Hills.
Yeah. Yeah, I was here for 2.5 years before we launched. I was just twiddling my thumbs.
Which is great. I got to be on the
What to
interview
do.
team,
Yeah.
which is super fun.
That's right.
You were in my interview too.
Yeah.
And it took you guys an awful long time to interview me.
you know,
It was
there was
like weeks and weeks
red
of
flag.
interview.
No, I'm just kidding.
It was background check didn't come back clear. Anyway, no. But I was here for a long time, and we were praying about where we wanted to launch and where we wanted to end up, and we were thinking Castle Rock, but there weren't any open doors until through some discernment with leaders, we realized, man, we just got to go portable. There's people down there that we need to be reaching that we aren't reaching right now. And that's when I kind of really got the go-ahead to invest in Castle Rock, to start hiring a team, to invest in the relationships down there. And man, I was joking about not expecting to be a portable, set up, tear down church. But that wasn't just me. That was the people that we had started to meet with in Castle Rock. They were by and large people who had commuted up to the Littleton campus, and were calling this place their home, and they're used to kind of the fully established facility here. And then I come along and say, hey, how about you change everything How about you commit to coming to a high school that's maybe not in the best shape?
It's only 57 years old.
Oh, is that all?
It hasn't even hit retirement yet.
There's a lot of legacy though in that
Yes.
Douglas County area
Yeah.
though.
Right.
Very
Oh,
true.
for sure. But it was really this big mindset shift for them. You know, it's this change of, you know, we're not just going up to attend church, but we've got to make church happen in this place that we're not used to. And so I've been amazed at just their selflessness and missional heart for reaching the community, because that's how we're doing it, and that's the biggest sacrifice that they've made in a while in a lot of ways. But
Yeah, I think it's just been so interesting to watch our people. We have a student who comes. She comes with her parents to set up. And for the first little while, she would be like, okay, like, let's go to the school on Sunday mornings. You know, they'd get in and come to set up. And then a couple months in, they would get in the car and she would say, oh, let's go to church. And so
Just that shift.
it just changes. Because, I mean, we say it all the time, church isn't a building we come to, but it's a mission we're part of. And I think we've seen our people embrace that with open arms.
Yeah.
Took them a second, but I think they loved it, and they have learned to love it even more. And honestly, I'll miss it when we're not in the school. I won't miss everything being purple.
Yes.
And the possibility that there's like a
Sticky
mouse running through
floors. Oh,
there.
yeah.
But I think that I'll just miss the community, the fellowship that happens at 7 a.m. when you're half awake and you're setting up things together and celebrating when we get it set up sooner than we even thought.
Right.
I mean, when we started, we would get there at 6, and we would get there even before 6 to try and get in the doors a little early. And service would start at 9:15, and at 9 a.m. I would be like, oh my gosh, we're not
still gotta
done
do this
yet.
and
I
this
haven't
and
done
this
this
and
thing.
this. Yeah.
And now, like 8 o'clock, I'm like, oh my gosh, let me have a second cup of coffee. This is so great. So celebrating our team has been fun in that too.
Right.
And you probably know all the breakfast places down there that you can pick from, pick and choose. You're like, I know we got to get the burritos from here, coffee from here.
Well, it's
Listen.
tricky because not everything's open.
Yeah.
at 6
But
a.m. on Sundays.
I do know the best deals that are open at
See?
6 a.m. on Sundays. I
That's
can
the
tell you
important stuff.
who's got the BOGO, who's got the 2-for-1,
Right.
who can split it for you. I can tell you who comes into the Einstein's Bagel every single week at the same time. We chat. And he
Except for
comes-
this last Sunday when they just had a sign up that said closed.
said, technical difficulties. Sorry. And I said,
heartbreaking.
Excuse me, sir, I need bagels.
I have to
understand.
feed the people.
Integral to our ministry here.
I have a boss who get grumpy if I don't bring him breakfast.
Who's that? I don't know.
I think that's so important too here at the Littleton campus. It's a little different because we're in a business park over here. So we can invest in the local community, and sometimes we'll do fun stuff like we'll bake cookies and take them over to businesses and we'll drop stuff off there. But I often hear you guys, especially you, Tanner, you're like, I'm going to take Judah and we're going to go put out invitations for whatever events coming up on apartment doors. And you guys are talking about like at Christmas, make sure we have invite kits that we can distribute in the neighborhood. And I think that's so cool that you guys have really spread out roots, not only into the surrounding businesses, but like where the people are too. Can you talk about that process and just kind of like getting involved, not only in the businesses around you guys, because I know we have a good relationship with Lost Coffee down there, but
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
like in the suburbs too.
Yeah, absolutely.
What that was like for you guys.
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
I know that was happening well before we had a business, or well before we had a space even.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. My kids get dragged along to everything, and just all the things all the time. Taking invites out to their practices, all kinds of things like that. And that's kind of the name of the game for planting a church in a way. You know, it's that getting the word out in the community, becoming more of a known name, and making sure people know that you're not only there, but that you care about them. And so we've tried to do that. We've tried to bless other businesses like Lost Coffee, who's been so good to us.
Yeah.
And it's been really sweet. Sometimes I don't know if I'm overstepping boundaries, and I'm like, am I allowed in this apartment complex right now? I don't know. But
No one asked you to leave.
no one asked me to
Great.
leave yet. But it's been really sweet, and like such a sweet opportunity as a dad to kind of have the excuse to disciple them and say, hey, here's why this is important. Here's why we want to put these invites on doors, not because we need to fill a building, but because we want people to know that God loves them.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a double-edged sword in that way. We get to bless the community, but also I get to invest in my kids in a special way like that. But
That's super cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think a lot. I even saw just yesterday, our people, they do this. Like, this is not something that we've really taught them. Yes,
Yeah.
it's something that we get to do with them, but it's not something that we've been like, these are the rules and you have to follow them.
right.
Good enough. Like, they just do it. When I got to the hospital yesterday, there was already somebody there who had beat me there. And then whenever I was sitting there, he was like, somebody else said, oh, well, so-and-so's already brought me a meal last week when I was at home and I was stuck at home. And nobody asked for attention. Nobody told me. They don't tell us what they're doing. And we want them to because we want to celebrate them. But they operate as the church without even us prompting them sometimes, which is really great. And then also because we get to be in the community, my favorite sandwich place in Castle Rock is called Snarf's. And there's this one cashier named Mr. Jeff, and I go in all the time and we chat. And I'm slowly going to pull him in one sandwich at a time. But it's really a simple thing to do. And so when I get to take somebody to lunch, I typically take them to the same place so that I can also build relationships with the people who work there. And so it's an easy... Castle Rock's just a fun spot to do that in. I
know, and there's some making sure the community is an easy part of the system that's already going on. So like every Sunday morning I've got to go and get an energy drink at the gas station. And I used to just kind of pop around wherever I felt like, and I realized, wait, this is an opportunity to build a relationship with Dan at the Good to Go. And so now Don and I go there every morning to get our energy drink fix, and we're inviting him to church every morning. He's at the end of his 12-hour shift.
Are you able to limit Don to just one?
I limit him one from me.
There we go.
But I don't know how many he brings to the table already.
Whatever it takes for the tech director to run. God bless him.
We give him everything. We give him everything for sure. Yeah. But
I really like that. Our video producer who's sitting on the other side of the screens right now, him and I invest in a local poke place here that's right outside of the walls of Mission Hills. We're able to go in and we're able to see Amy every week. And she actually has come to Easter and Christmas here before. And they're like the nicest people. So investing in those relationships for nothing else, and it's just building community in that sense. I love that from you guys. That's so awesome. And I think you guys have both touched on a really good point where it's you guys are leading by example rather than by telling. I mean, you guys are out in the community doing these things, so your serve team sees you doing that, and that's how they're imitating, much like our kids do to us, whether we want them to or not. But it sounds like you guys are passing down some really good stuff to your serve team.
Well, and that's one of the cool things about church like we're doing it. It's just kind of by necessity that our people need to be a part of making church happen. Mission Hills is a big church, and so it can kind of be easy to just kind of coast in and be anonymous and all that stuff. But our campus couldn't run if it wasn't for people showing up to literally transform high school into a church
every week. Every week.
And I think part of that attitude and that mindset shift again, it trickles down to like what Mary was saying, them being the church in a lot of other ways. I think that's happening across all different churches and across Mission Hills for sure. But I think it's just a little more ingrained in us by necessity. I think of the hospital visits that happen without us knowing it. And by the way, that's my favorite thing in ministry is when I hear like holy gospel about what ministry that's going on that I didn't have any hand in planning at all. And then, or people organizing for their life group, moving help and all kinds. Oh, I've got a truck. I've got the love. Yeah, let's go. Get together. I love that, and that's just kind of what's the momentum that's going at our campus right now. People are just loving each other and letting the Spirit use them. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, when we started, so we launched on Easter last year, but in January we launched some life groups. So these home-based fellowships where they're talking about the sermon, discussion questions together, but also just doing life together. And those life groups, the ones that have really stuck and formed and become community, I've got one the roster is 34 people long. Granted, maybe it's time for them to split up and make two different groups. But I went and visited their leader yesterday, and she was like, "Oh wait, no, let me call so and so, and I'll do this and all these things," and was just like, "Oh, our community is ready for what comes." Yeah. And even her son, he got into a little car accident on the way home from church a couple Sundays ago, and the first responder who came, the firefighter was in their life group, and so it's just we really do get to see our people be a part of that. And something that Tanner said when we started, he said, if we could look somehow at the spiritual DNA of our people after being in this process. And so when I think about the people that I knew a year ago and the people that I see now, I have just seen so much growth in them and in myself too. Just being a first year in ministry, but it's just been such an interesting thing to watch that I haven't done it. It's been the Lord working in these people, and we just get to cultivate the experience that they get to be a part of. And I love it.
It's so cool getting to see the size of your guys' church with the size of your guys' staff, the size of your guys' serve team. I mean, like you said, it wouldn't happen if everybody wasn't involved. And I think that's so different than how Littleton operates sometimes. So I love being able to watch you guys do that because we're on the communications team here, so we were able to kind of help support all sorts of different ministries and campuses. So the fact that we're able to help play a role with you guys is so much fun.
Oh, for sure.
I want to know, as we look forward here, kind of maybe to the next year, maybe the next 5 years, I'll let you guys decide what you guys are thinking about here. What are you guys really excited for? I know the cool thing about campuses in different communities are it is part of Mission Hills, but it has the DNA of the community. So what are you guys excited for moving over the next 6, 12, 18 months down in the Castle Rock area through the Castle Rock campus? It could be anything from growing in leadership to maybe launching new serve team, but I know you guys are constantly launching Bible studies and life groups and stuff like that. So I just want to see what's on the maybe on the horizon. And it could be a deep wish, like, well, I hope this happens too.
Right, for sure.
What's the dream?
I got some ideas.
You got some ideas?
I was going to let you go first.
No, you go ahead.
What I've seen recently that I think is going to be just more and more prevalent all the time is rather than some big flashy events, really smaller intentional kind of manifestations of community. So I just started this young dads group that's kind of like MOPS, but DOPS doesn't have a great sound to it.
It's true.
And that's just been really sweet. And we've seen a lot of kind of those more organic things rising, those organic instances of community rising up that has been really powerful. And it's such a great way to, if somebody comes in, a young dad comes in for the first time on a Sunday, it's so much easier to just say, hey, we get together every other month and hang out. Like, we'd love to have you join us. That's been so great for some of our new folks to have things like that. And so I think there's a lot of those types of things that's on the rise, and more of that's coming. But another interesting dynamic with like launching a church is just awareness in the community, and that's more and more building all the time. Like, I'm still meeting people who are like, wait, Mission Hills is down here?
Yes, that was my first thought too.
Only for a minute.
Yes. And so like it's the air I breathe and the water I'm swimming in, so that's all I think about, but I'm still learning that everybody else is like still becoming more aware of it. So things like that, like we're doing a sports camp this summer that I think is going to be great. It's just like Littleton Sports Camp, but it's
first ever. We're going to plug in for it here. If you guys are looking for a sports camp this summer, sign up.
So I think we're going to have more opportunities like that to get our name out. Some bigger events in the fall that are going to be really exciting to get our people more in the community and serving. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I love that.
I think one of my dreams is, first is when I'm somewhere in Castle Rock and they ask where I work, they don't go, oh, I didn't know you guys had a campus down here. Yeah. I want them to be like, oh my gosh, I've heard of that place. It's incredible. Like, I know.
Found them on social media.
Yeah, come on, I did. I talked to somebody on Sunday who was like, yeah, I just looked on social media and found you guys. And I was like, yes.
So good.
All my planned posts, all the photography you guys are doing, it's incredible. But then I think my other dream is when I think about part of my role is that I get to kind of coordinate groups at our campus. And so I think of groups as like these buckets that are catching everybody. And right now I feel like I have enough buckets for all the people that we have. But I can't wait for the day where I'm suddenly like, oh my gosh, I don't have enough buckets. Let's go find them.
Yeah,
like the people are just like overflowing, and I can't wait for them to be plugged in a deeper way. Because that's really where we see the people get to know each other. Because those 5-minute conversations in the lobby are super fun. But then when they get to sit down and do life with each other is where it gets really special and where I think the life change really happens. Even just like the sweetness that comes out of groups. I had one of my ladies in my Bible study email me pictures from her vacation yesterday. She's on vacation in Belize. And it's like, I just want to share, and we just all got to find little joys in that. But then we also get to watch them encourage one another and go through. Most of our groups are multi-generational, so all of it is just building one another up. And so I'm excited for the day that the buckets are overflowing and we need more. And then I get to watch the leaders say yes, maybe for the first time to leading a group. I've had a couple people before.
Come on.
I got a text pretty early on. I was like, hey, would you be interested in this? And literally the reply said, I've never tried that before, but I think it'll be fun. And I was like, you are a dad with 2 kids and you're telling me I'm nervous, but let's do it.
Yeah, right.
And so do it scared. Like, I'm excited to watch people step up and say yes to what their next step is.
Yeah.
Do it and do it scared. I think that is a perfect sign off for this and encapsulate it's the perfect year with you guys. This has been so much fun. Thanks for sitting down with me, you guys. This was great.
Thanks, Colin.